All right, guys. As you see, we have a guest on the show today. He's going to be part of the intro because he's part of the pod forever. My boy Jonathan Parrilla is going to be joining us. Parrilla will be joining us. Cheers, my brother. We're going to be talking about his COVID experience, what that was all like a year and a half later when we all thought it was kind of over. It's definitely going to be an interesting story because we talked the whole way through. So this was the intro. You're about to hear House Beats. Catch you in a second. John, you got anything? You gonna do that weird peace sign, or you just gonna wait to the end? Yeah.
No, I'm just waiting for this white lady to tell me we stopped recording.
Yo, what are you doing right now?
The big V. Look, man.
All right, man. Let's just jump right into this shit. So
I made my wife wake up and drive me there anyway.
you.
Es a major.
Pasar con eso. Pasar con español.
¿Qué pasó, papá? ¿Cómo estás? Any questions?
Now, when you bought that sweater, right? You just go, fuck it. I'm going full Mr. Rogers. You've tuned into the Man Chatter Podcast. All right, guys. That fucking white lady always throws me off, bro. Fucking white lady. Fucking Karens. Hey, man. All right, John. So let's kick it off, bro. You, a few weeks ago, caught COVID. Whatever you want to talk about and mention as far as the story goes, you know what I mean? I leave that up to you because I'm sure there's some things you want to leave out, some things you want to keep in, but just tell us what that whole ordeal and experience was like, man.
Okay, so around, I would say the 4th of February, my girlfriend got tested for COVID because she was going into surgery on the 7th. Mm-hmm. And she came back negative that Friday. Unfortunately, someone in her family got COVID that same Friday and didn't really tell anybody in the house.
You mean June,
so
right?
This June. Yeah, this is
okay.
Early June.
Okay.
Sounds familiar.
So this individual brought COVID into the house, gave it to her dad, gave it to his wife, gave it to his son, gave it to her, but didn't really announce it until Monday when she went in for surgery. So she was in surgery with COVID. And when she got out, she didn't know. No one knew. So I picked her up on Tuesday. She was in my car with me. We were really in close proximity. Mm-hmm. And that evening, she said, I'm not feeling that great. I can't smell and I can't taste. Now, I already knew right then and there what she had.
Yeah.
She already knew right then and there what she had. This was now a matter of, okay, well, how many days before I start feeling it and she starts really feeling it? Mm-hmm. And that was about a day for her. She started feeling like fevers. Not so much Wednesday. Wednesday, I was pretty okay. Thursday is when I started feeling it, Thursday, Friday. Mm-hmm. Thursday with a light fever, a little bit of molestia in the throat, like a little bit of a bother. Nothing that I would consider serious. So I thought I had gotten scot clean, more or less. Friday, on the other hand, I was on my ass. I couldn't think my way out of a paper bag. And I still had to show up for work. So I was working remotely. I knew I was sick. I knew what I had. Mm-hmm. And I told my boss I'm going to get tested Saturday, just to confirm. Her and I both got tested. Sure enough, Monday, they verified that it was COVID. Mm-hmm. The same strain as the person who gave it to her whole entire family. So we knew what we had. And then came a tale of two cities, as I like to call it. Because Maritza, my girlfriend, she's used to being sick. When she gets sick, she hawks phlegm, she coughs. She's a tough little bird, bro. Mm-hmm. That woman will get through. Like she knows how to get through.
Maybe
illnesses,
don't say old in there. You know what I mean? Like say she's a tough woman. Don't say tough old.
She'll punch me and we'll call it even. Yeah. She'll punch me and we'll call it even.
It's too late.
But she's tough. She's a tough woman. So when she had the cough, she's like she was spitting up the phlegm. She was sweating. She was doing what she had to do. Mm-hmm. Bro, I get sick like once a decade. And when I get sick, I go to a hospital. That's not a joke. It happened in the 2000s. It happened in 2015 with the swine flu. It happened this year in 2021. My boss knew the last time I had the flu because I worked with him before at the previous company.
Right.
So he kind of expected me to end up in a hospital. He just wondered when I would end up in the hospital. Mm-hmm. I'm over here trying to be Papa Pingu, be like, no, I can do this. But I was not coughing up any phlegm, guys. And if you know how that goes, that just exacerbates the problem.
Yeah.
So I started sweating it out a lot. Like now we're talking June what, by the 11th, I was really bad. I started
Yep.
taking days off on the 14th. So on the 14th, 15th, my fever was like 102, 97, 102. It was all over the place. Maritza didn't know what the heck to do at this point because she was just like, I'm trying everything I can to get him through this, but it's hard. So by that Wednesday, the 16th, the fevers were gone. The shakes were gone. Only one problem remained, guys. I had issues breathing. If I tried coughing up phlegm and I didn't spit up phlegm, my chest felt like it was being ripped apart, and I was having issues breathing after that.
Should have coughed that shit up early.
And so Maritza made a sauna out of my bathroom. She put like boiling water, tea with her. She made her last ditch effort. And finally, I coughed up phlegm that Wednesday. It was thick, black, and dark green, like really almost like a venom symbiote. And I felt every inch of that phlegm leave my throat as I spit it out. I had to stand over well, Ben, you've been in my apartment.
Yeah.
I had to stand over my her bathroom and just breathe,
Yep.
heave over after spitting that out because I couldn't even breathe.
Great
properly.
description, by the way. Venom
And I
symbiote.
remember telling her, if I have to do this one more time, I'm going to pass out. Like I got very lightheaded from that one hawk. I was like, if I have to do this again, I'm just going to crash. So I was like, let me try going to sleep tonight. Let me see if maybe I can start spitting it out in little chunks.
Yep.
Now, on Thursday, it got worse. I tried spitting it up twice. Both times I failed. Both times lightheaded as hell. The third time, I'm like, I can't live like this. I'm going to a hospital. Now, what I didn't know at the time is that I had developed pneumonia.
Oof.
That's what I didn't know. That's why shit was rough. So when I got to that hospital and I described everything, they were like, okay, sure. It sounds, to them, it was like, it doesn't sound like you really have COVID anymore, but sure, we'll put you in, we'll treat you as such. They tested me and I waited like an hour and a half for the result. And yeah, it was positive. So they were like, all right, he's got COVID. And from that point on, it was like hazmat suits for me. People treated me like I was an alien.
Yep.
And then they brought in an x-ray machine and they verified that I had developed pneumonia, severe pneumonia. And then the doctor was like, it's touch and go for the next 24 hours. We're going to put you on steroids for your lungs. We're going to talk to the infectious disease doctor and she'll see you tomorrow morning and she'll make a determination on which way we go, but you're spending the night in the hospital. And with that, I kind of knew that at least I would have one night. Once the steroids were put into my system along with an IV, IV fluids, oh dude, I started hacking shit up. Like it was instant. It was like, holy cow. At first it was still dark, very little, small, very thick, black, green things. As Thursday moved into Friday and Saturday, because of the steroids, the antibiotics, because they're now dealing with pneumonia, the phlegm became less thick and more like what everybody deals with on an everyday basis.
Okay.
And that just made it a lot easier to cough it up and kick it out. And I was very grateful for that. That's a heck of an advantage. They put me on remdesivir, I think.
Remdesivir,
which is a COVID, remdesivir, which is a COVID drug. You can only take one dose every 24 hours. So it required me to stay in the hospital for 5 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday morning when I left. That was my last one. Each one takes about an hour to be administered. And they did it more or less at the 24-hour mark. Every morning at 9 a.m. They would come in and they would put me on that.
Is it an IV drip?
Yeah, it's an IV drip. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They also moved me to the 4th floor, which is their COVID wing at the hospital here. And they had me hooked up to a oxygenation, like heart monitor, oxygenation, the works. I was pretty much just wires all over the place. It made everything difficult, from taking a piss to a shit, even brushing your teeth. Everything was just annoying because if any of those cables came off, everything's being reported wirelessly. Right. So then they would have to get dressed and look in the room, see if anything's happened to me. There were signs that were like, don't fall, give us a call or some shit. And I'm like, I'm 37, not 73. Jesus.
Yeah. Lightheaded as a motherfucker. You can faint, pass out. Yeah.
It reminded me of isolation, because really I was in a room for 5 days by myself and with my own thoughts.
Yep.
The phone charger was way off to the side, and you know how Apple phones are. Their charge cables are like 3 feet. Yep. So if I used my phone for Netflix or any media, it would just drain the battery. So if I had to charge it, I'd be without a phone for hours. And so it became like, all right, well, I can't really use my phone other than just texting to communicate with you guys. because if there's an emergency that I need to reach out to you and keep you guys updated, I can't very well just be like, oh yeah, let me just watch Netflix, and when it's down to 5% battery, charge it. Like, that's not very responsible.
Right.
So I literally just had a television set to watch and my own thoughts. People would come in and tell me to put on the mask at first, which I thought was hilarious, because it's like, I'm the guy with the breathing problem and you're telling me to cover up my face. That's hilarious. The night nurses were the people that would put the fear of God into me, because the first night that lady was like, we're going to put you on this, we're going to put you on that, you might need an oxygen mask, and we might even have to put you on plasma after 5 days. And I'm like, hold the fucking phone. Plasma? They're like, yeah, it's blood transfusion and all this other. I'm like, what the fuck is this lady talking about? So the next morning they were like, oh, your oxygenation level was under 90 a few times during the night. I'm like, yeah, I haven't slept. I'm stressed. Like, and so like, oh, you just put on a little oxygen strip. And I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. Like, what the fuck? That was like my Friday, pretty much, was me wearing that thing and the doctor seeing me, and he's like, I don't think you need that. You know, you can take that off. I need your lungs to start breathing. And I'm like,
on their
okay,
own,
so the nurses at night are telling me, put this shit on, scaring me. The doctor's telling me, take it off. I need your lungs to breathe.
Right.
The infectious disease doctor finally came in and she's like, you don't need oxygen. Like, that's what the steroid is for. We need to deal with your pneumonia, because that's the real complication. That's the real danger.
Yep.
And so that lady worked over the weekend. I did not know infectious disease doctors worked over the weekend, but I saw that same woman from Thursday until Tuesday.
Probably on call that weekend.
Impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And they would take bloods from me twice a day, morning and night, which was really annoying because everything was like off my hand. They couldn't find my veins, so everything was literally,
because you're dehydrated.
So if you know how they're so they were literally like moving the needle around, and I was like, oh god, this is so painful, knowing that there's a piece of metal being moved. I'm just like, oh, please just get the blood out already. But other than that, just being trapped in your head is the worst part, especially at night when you can't sleep and you're stressed and your time just stands still. And you seriously, the nights just lasted an eternity.
Yeah.
At least during the daytime.
That's why I always make sure to check in on you, because that's got to be incredibly isolating. So I was like, yo, man, we're here, bro. We're going to give you shit. We're going to check in on you.
Yeah, no, believe me, all the messages, all of it helped me through it. You could not believe the outpour of love I got from friends and family. It helped more than I could ever express. I got a question. Because past a certain time at night, it was me in my own head.
Yeah, it's dark.
And
it gets dark in there.
That's a scary place.
You do a lot of self-reflecting when you have no one to talk to for hours and you're not going to sleep anytime soon.
Oh, yeah.
And you're watching, A&E. It was Juneteenth that weekend. So it was like next Friday, Black Panther, all of these movies, Men of Honor.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
it's a good
one.
Great movies. What are you talking about?
These are all great movies. So at least at night,
Friday after next,
I was like, this is great. But guess what happens at 4 a.m.? Infomercials. Every channel unanimously goes.
6.
Yeah.
Every channel just goes, our movies are ending at 3 to 4. Sorry, fuck you. Here's an infomercial. And I'm just like, fuck. At least before I could watch a movie. Now it's like I have nothing.
That's the worst part, right? That's what I hear. Maybe not the worst, but I mean, it's almost just as bad as being sick. The isolation that, like you said, it was almost like you were the outbreak monkey. Everyone's in suits. Family can't come near you, and then you're just stuck there.
And then every 4 hours, they check your vitals. So you get just enough, if you rest at all, you get just enough rest to communicate, but not really to feel rested.
Right.
No.
So you're drained all 5 days. And of course, they're giving me stuff that's pumping up my blood pressure. Saline bag with sodium. The steroids also help. Remdesivir also beefs it up. So then they're concerned about my blood pressure. I'm like, I'm not sleeping. I'm stressed. Y'all are literally bothering me every 4 hours. Like, believe me, my blood pressure will be fine when I'm home. Right now, fix me and get me out of here. By Sunday, they no longer cared if I wore a mask. So that's how I knew that things were on the up and up.
Good. That's good.
I know on Friday, the occupational therapist came by. Friday was the big day where everyone visited me from the hospital. And that was the day that I knew things were probably going to be okay, because the occupational therapists, both of them, made the joke of like, we're going to go find sick people, because I was able to move and breathe without a mask. And I guess they're not used to that with COVID. They're used to more like serious cases where people have real issues breathing. With me, it was more or less like I just had severe pneumonia. And I know by Monday, the day before I left, the infectious disease doctor she was all smiles, even under her mask, you could see her cheeks smiling with the blood work results. So she thought that, I was fine by Monday. Tuesday was just the extra, the final dose that needed to be put in my body, because you can't stop the treatment halfway.
Right.
And that was pretty much it. I got sent home with a few pills, the same steroids that they gave me in liquid form, but in smaller doses with pills. Some zinc, vitamin C for the next 2 weeks. And that was it. I mean, the exiting of the hospital was emotional. They put me in a wheelchair. They played the Karate Kid theme. They called it a code health. Apparently it's, I don't know, something like when you get out. Yeah, like when you get out of the hospital from COVID, they kind of celebrate it, which is great. And it was very emotional because like every nurse that had attended me was pretty much like walking me out. So that was nice. That was very, very nice. Yeah. Broward Health, Coral Springs Medical Center, fantastic job taking care of me.
Is this a sponsor? Was that a sponsored shout out?
No, not a sponsored shout out. Just giving them a shout out that they did a terrific job.
Well, who is it a sponsored
Pretty much
shout
bringing
out?
me back to health.
Hey, this story kind of brings to light that people are hating on Jonathan because how you got sick is the exact same way that I got sick.
Yep.
A family member who knew that they had it was just hanging out when I went to visit family back in January, and they didn't tell anybody. They're out there sharing the food, we're drinking, we're in close proximity, and I was there for a couple of weeks. I didn't start for a week and a half. I started feeling it like towards the end of that week. They say it takes maybe 4 days, 5 days, and I started feeling those symptoms then. And I didn't have the respiratory issues like you did. I was drained though. I had no fucking energy. And then when I had my wife and I, when we got home, like immediately after we got tested and just to verify that we were positive, we isolated ourselves. Like she was in one room, I was in the other room. We stayed away from my youngest son because my oldest son was already like gone to basic training. And while I wasn't coughing up phlegm, not a lot, just going up a flight of stairs, I was kind of winded. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like I would feel like I had just, maybe not as bad as you, but I felt like I was working. Like it was
a workout
for me to breathe. And I had never felt anything like that. I was like, wow, I just walked, what was this, 20 steps and I'm winded. Like I have to like kind of catch my breath a little bit. And I was doing the same thing. Like I wasn't turning my bathroom into a sauna, but I was getting like a pot, boiling hot water, putting a towel over my head and just breathing in all that, all that steam. Yeah. Doing the same stuff to kind of help with the breathing, open up the lungs, all that
some
stuff.
Vaporu. Did you put some Vaporu on?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here, man. None of it worked.
Vaporu and Tussin for when you have cuts. You use Tussin and Vaporu and you're good.
Yeah,
if you're Latino or black, you know about Vaporu and you know about rubber Tussin.
That's right. Let that Tussin get in there.
Let that Tussin work.
Down into the bone. But yeah, nothing works for me. Like I got to give Maritza all the credit in the world for trying her hardest, but I mean, I'm pretty certain that if I would not have developed pneumonia, it would have been fine. I think the pneumonia is what ultimately got me into that hospital. And I will say this though, being alone for 5 days made me reflect on the prisoners in Gitmo. From the enhanced interrogation techniques that actually came into my mind while I was there. I was like, I know I'm getting out of this hospital and I'm feeling tortured because I was literally locked in a room. I could only go on a bed or a chair.
Right.
And if I walked around, I started feeling tired until like Monday. I could walk around all day, but feeling tired, feeling famished, feeling mentally drained, feeling stressed, high blood pressure, stress situations, not knowing what's going to happen. And I'm like, and I'm in a hospital. Like I'm here to get healthy, get better and go home. And I just started reflecting on the enhanced interrogation techniques that were approved by our country to potential prisoners of war or terrorists or whatever the fuck they want to label them.
And you know what? That's crazy because I was reading a paper about that back in I had started my master's on like criminology or criminal justice.
Exactly.
So I was doing like reading different stuff about community policing. But one of the things I was reading about were the enhanced interrogation techniques, and how this was written by this guy. I think this guy was like one of the advisors. Can't remember his name. He was an attorney. I think he was Chinese American or something. But this attorney wrote this paper on how we should treat these guys in Gitmo, and a lot of these people in Gitmo were just, there was no evidence. It was just like, oh, we think that you could be, and guess what? Like, it's a lot of them have been slowly released because there was no evidence. They were held for years and years, and I think we still have people being held there that there is nothing on them, and they've been tortured and kept from their family, and these people have missed their kids growing up. They've missed all that. It's nuts. It's crazy. And something along those dealing with people, because when I was in Afghanistan, we saw folks that worked or assisted the military, like Afghans. What happens when we pull out over, like they face repercussions right now, because when I was there, I would see like some of these guys sometimes would come beat up or whatever. They had to take circuitous routes so that they wouldn't get beat when they left the base. Jeez. Because they were helping the enemy, the infidels, whatever you want to call it. And like I saw, what's that, the senator, the representative's name, I think it's Ben Crenshaw, about these guys that worked for the army or helped the military, a lot of them, especially the translators, like help bring them to the States. Like they help the US, but once we leave, those guys,
on their own,
their family, they're on their own.
Yeah, and that's the real crime, is the lack of, I guess, the lack of ownership from the United States Army or military to say, hey, look, they took care of us when we were over there. We should take care of them now.
Yeah. I took that a different route, by the way. My bad.
No, it's fine. I mean, it just, I started attending because I was there in isolation, and I remember like that Monday, I was like, man, I really feel like I've just been tortured for 5 days or 4 days at this point. And by Tuesday morning, dude, I wanted out. Like, I wanted out of that hospital. I was like, I've had enough. I haven't showered in 5-6 days. I need a bath. I need to get the heck out of here. Like, it was just, enough is enough. My facial hair looked like Osama bin Laden. Like, I literally had grown facial hair beyond. I should have taken a picture for you, Ben. You've seen how crazy I can grow or try to grow a beard.
100%.
Like, you and Danny would have probably been like, holy cow, you can actually grow something now. It's like, yeah, when you're stressed in isolation without showering for 6 days,
you look crazy.
You'd be surprised what you grow.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you look crazy. So I remember just thinking like, man, when I got out and I saw sunlight, real sunlight with my own eyes, I felt like I got out of prison. And when I saw streets and it was only 5 days, guys. And I felt like I'd been locked away. And that's why it made me reflect on that, Jonathan, because I was like, dude, like this was a hospital visit. And 5 days into it, it made me feel this way. Imagine guys in Gitmo who've been there for like a decade.
Yeah,
imagine if
something you were describing.
Now. Like, yeah, how do they re-assimilate? 5 days, and I had to learn how to re-enunciate words because I wasn't speaking anymore. So like I was talking to Maritza and even my mother, and I realized, oh shit, I'm pronouncing words slightly differently because I haven't practiced English other than yes, no, yes.
That's what you were limited to.
No, so it's like 5 days of silence already affected my speech a little bit. I couldn't imagine years of just dogs barking, my head being covered, being in stress positions. Like, it just made me reflect on that because I was like, man, put a politician through 5 days of this shit, and I bet you they too would feel like I do. Now imagine doing it for 10 days with barking dogs and all that other shit. I want to see how quickly they'd be like, maybe this wasn't the right idea back then. It's like, no shit.
Yeah, no, maybe they'll figure it out. Hey, we are gonna have to restart this meeting, right? Because we're about to run out of time. It's less than a minute. I don't know what just happened. Benjamin's on mute.
Oh, yeah, I've been up as you guys been talking. I've been upgrading to pro. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, it might. Bam! Look at that. Hey, boys, look at that's. All hey, right. Call me the Michael Jordan of this shit. At the motherfucking, I passed it to Steve Kerr. You understand what I'm saying? I'll pass it to Steve Kerr. Ain't no racist in me. All right, man, my bad. Had to work while you guys were talking. I was listening to everything though. How the fuck did we get into the Gitmo thing? Shout out to see. This is what happens when you have a.
Oh, because they
The
said that,
isolation.
No, I
because
heard.
they said I was in isolation, Ben, and it felt like I was tortured. So it reminded me of that. So Jonathan then started speaking about his research paper and what he's read and his own experiences in Afghanistan.
There's also a book that we listened to from Malcolm Gladwell that talked about that. That talked about people who were tortured and like interrogation tactics and techniques and stuff like that. When you're talking, you know what I mean? When you just like that, or you just assume that person did something, or hey, this person did that, and they take them away, and then you're in complete isolation. Like I told you at the beginning, right? Like that's why I made sure to like hit people up, like, yo, man, gotta check on Jonathan. Gotta check on Jonathan because he's dude, like on a very small scale, obviously not to the level of fear of like possibly losing your life like you did, right? Because you're in the hospital, you never know what could happen. Like when I'm here in my house by myself, and like my wife is out of town for like 2 days, I'm like, what are people? Like I don't like it becomes this thing where like you don't, and it's weird because like living is far from everything as we do now. Like we love where we live, but like when me and my wife aren't together, I'm just like, do people even exist?
No, you don't.
You know what I mean? It's fucking weird. Don't be disrespectful, little man. All right. Yo, I'm gonna
Speaking the truth.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. 87% of the
Hey,
time.
but look, so I've had to deal with that, right? When Mel and I were on a different level, because I wasn't stuck to a hospital bed where I couldn't leave.
Right.
But
Correct.
when Mel and I we PTS, when she's sent to one duty station and I get sent to one and then she doesn't join me for another 9 months, or when I took the job over here and for 2 years I was commuting. I was going home every other weekend. And I just got I have a 1-bedroom apartment. But Mel would, she would be like, oh yeah, you're living the bachelor lifestyle. You have an apartment downtown. It's a 10-minute walk to the arena, to the stadium, to the baseball stadium, football stadium, whatever. And I mean, I would stay in. I either work I wouldn't even work for my apartment because it was a 10-minute walk to the office. I was like, I need to go be around people, even though I don't really interact with these people.
Yep.
And now I'm good that I don't have to go into the office. Like at that point, because I didn't have my family with me,
Nope.
I would just go in just to see people moving around.
Yes.
Because what would happen when I would come home to the apartment that Mel wasn't there, the kids weren't there. I didn't really have a group of friends because I was traveling back and forth so much. I wasn't really able to establish a core group of friends outside of work. Yep. Because I was never there to actually participate in like soccer or whatever I was doing. Whatever
You're
hobbies.
Too short to play soccer.
What's that?
You're too short to play soccer.
Nah.
Messi's about his height. Messi's a little taller than you.
Nah.
Messi's 5'5".
Nah.
Messi's 5'5". Kids, junior soccer.
Just a little bit. Something like that.
Elementary school.
No, that's a little creepy. No. Look, man, I play with a bunch of like 40 and 50-something-year-old dudes like that are trying to live or relive, lost dreams. What could have been.
Those are the worst.
So I feel good about myself when I play against these guys.
That's good.
Yeah. but yeah, no, so I would come home to the apartment and it was just an empty apartment. I had a bed and my laptop, and I would like a couple times a week I would go have dinner, sit at the bar, bullshit with the bartenders. I got to know all the bartenders at different spots because I wasn't going to stay in my apartment every single day of the week and then wait, every other week or every other weekend to go home and hang out with my wife and spend time with my wife and kids, to then come back on a Sunday afternoon. Like, so I didn't have it quite as bad as you did, because you didn't have people coming. I could at least walk downstairs and go to the bar, go to the restaurant, whatever. But I know like that isolation fucking sucks, man. Like, because you're left with your thoughts, and there's only so much you can do. Let me work on my side hustle. Let me read this book. Let me watch this series. Let me work out.
You run out of things to do.
You run out of stuff.
Yeah. Out of stuff.
And then that's even worse, right? Like talking about Jonathan's experience is that like, you, at least when you're in the apartment and doing it, you have things you can do. All the ability of doing those things is completely taken away from you because you're exhausted, you're worn down, you're not sleeping. Everything hurts to get up. Your chest is on fire. You're having all these different fears of like, man, am I gonna, you know what I mean? Especially like knowing people that have passed from it. It becomes these things like, fuck, is it gonna happen? So I was like, I just wanted to make sure that like if you were able to talk and text, right? Because we've seen we've seen it go the other way, Jay. You know what I mean? Like we've seen how that cannot happen. I want to make sure, like, you knew that people were there for you, because I can't imagine that kind of isolation. Like that sound like, you know what I mean? Like we're giving you examples.
Anxiety is also the other thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like whenever I would cough just at night, my anxiety would go through the roof because I knew that was going to affect the oxygenation level.
Yeah.
And I would just pull that thing out. I'd be like, spit out the phlegm, and then it's like, how's my breathing afterward? And if the phlegm wouldn't come up, I would just get this natural like, and then it would just feel like a little choke pain, and then it would go away, and I'm like, but I'm fine. Okay, I'm good. I can still breathe. Like the anxiety level was high because I didn't know if that meant, oh my God, am I about to go a turn for the worst or not? Because again, the night shift nurses were there to pretty much put the fear of God into me.
Right.
That horrible things can happen at night. Versus
Also
the
'cause of what
daytime nurses were like, hey, here's your breakfast. Hey, enjoy.
Yeah.
An hour later, we're here to check on your vitals. How are you doing, sweetie? And it's like, oh, that's great. They're so happier and peppy. Versus the night shift people, though. The night shift people were just like, alms for the poor, here to pick up the dead body.
Shouldn't they be reassuring instead of
no, not
stressing
at
out
night.
even more?
At night, they seemed more like, we just want to get through it too. Like I felt like they were just there like, let's just get through the night and hope no one dies.
I mean, you got to remember, they've seen
during the day,
16, 17 months. They've seen 16, 17 months of this. Like their PTSD level, and like that's probably why they just kind of like dehumanized the whole process. Because how else do you deal with something like that? Like you literally invest yourself in patients where before February of last year, you never thought of like on any given week you could lose 5 to 10 patients. That's probably more than any of these nurses ever lost. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fucked up, but you have to to be able to live your life in any way possible. You have to dehumanize the patients that you're dealing with and just kind of be very matter of fact. As fucked up as that is.
Yeah, or else you take that shit home with you. Seeing all that. I got a question for you because you had a pretty thorough post on Monday, June 23rd at 6:32 p.m.
That's so specific, bro. What the fuck? You could have just said a post.
But
like
but we know what he's talking. Well, you don't know what he's talking about, Ben, because your feelings got hurt, so you're no longer on Facebook. But
correct.
There was a particular person that commented. It's the last comment on that.
Was it your brother? I feel like you're gonna.
I will neither confirm nor deny. Yeah. But I'm gonna read. I don't know if you.
Anytime you bring it up,
question, and I don't know if it was being.
Anytime you bring it up, I know it's your brother.
Sarcastic.
Yeah.
Or serious. But the question was, did you have the vaccine? Now that you went through what you went through, would you have gotten the vaccine if you could have? And I don't know if it was like being an ass. If you,
I think he was being an ass.
Serious, but I know him, so I'm pretty sure he was being an ass.
Yeah, he was an asshole, and that just comes with it. That just comes with the territory. But no, I didn't have the vaccine. I did not have the vaccine. The rate at which the vaccine was approved and pushed and shoved through gave me pause. And I wanted to see, just
Ben think that makes you an anti-vaxxer, by the way, right now.
Believe it or not, though.
Did you see Ben's reaction when you just said the rate? He goes, "Oh my God!" And then he rolled his eyes.
Hold on. But
you would have gotten the vaccine before.
Hold on. Let me finish.
And I physically bit my lip and I say something
despite all my reservations, I had my appointment to get my vaccine shot the week I got COVID.
Oh my God. Okay. I was gonna ask you that.
That's the irony of it.
But now you're good. You got COVID.
It's like I had it scheduled for Thursday. By Thursday, I had it already. So I was like, well, a little late now to go fucking get anything. I'm in the thick of it now, so fuck it. And so that was pretty much the long and the short of it. No, I did not have the vaccine. Going through what I've gone through now, would I have tried to get the vaccine earlier? Yeah, of course. From what I hear, the vaccine turns into like a regular bite-sized flu. Yeah. Yes. Oh shit.
It varies, right? Like, so I'll give you like the anecdotal evidence
on the vaccine, but that's just me.
You're still not gonna get
it.
I didn't go through it as bad as you did, but that's probably as sick as I've ever been. I don't think I've been that sick before. Like my body broke out into like just red, like a rash almost.
Oh shit.
And like I noticed it because I was driving. Remember, I was driving back from Jacksonville to Ohio, and like when I got to the house, I was like, I have red dots all over my skin. Like, and then I looked, and it was all over my legs, on my thighs, my back. I was like, what the fuck? It wasn't itching. It wasn't that. They called it the COVID something. I forgot what it was. Almost like blood vessels had popped everywhere.
Well, it's in your blood, yeah. So yeah, that shit was affecting you.
And I was
time,
just
dude.
like, what the fuck?
That's probably why you felt so drained.
You think? Yeah, maybe. And
Blood's popping all over your body. I feel like, yeah, that's probably why.
yeah, that might be it. I'm dying from the inside.
Yeah.
And
that's what internal
There's no
bleeding
bigger
is.
sign
no,
than
man.
that.
I still, that's probably the worst that I've gotten sick, not because of the stuff, like that stuff, like I'm sure that was having an effect, but the things themselves, it wasn't like a rash where it was itching or it was painful. I wasn't in pain. You know, like I said, my breathing was a little labored. I was weak. My fever got up to like 101 a couple times.
We did a podcast right
but
after, and you were still wheezing.
I was like that. I was like that for like 2 to 3 weeks, but really
Yep.
for like a month, I felt like I wasn't back to full strength. Like I was still kind of just weak and just
Oh, then
trying to recover.
And I got really lucky because 2 weeks after, and I'm dandy.
No,
Yeah.
it took me a good month to get back to like where I was before that. So
Yeah, for
in
me, it
that
was what?
sense, it might have affected me. Like it was just maybe more than you, like, but it wasn't as
Maybe we gotta have
extreme.
like
It
a
just lasted
higher,
longer in a different way.
what's that thing called? Like a higher load of it. You know what I mean? Like maybe Jonathan got it like more diluted, and you got like the full frontal, because you know what I mean?
The
Like,
frontal thing of it.
yeah.
And you got the full facial. Wait, what? But no, but he got the worst of it. Like his was really acute. Like it was just really, it didn't last for as long, but
But it was
It
really
was the most
strong.
potent.
Yeah, like I developed fucking
where,
pneumonia.
yeah, he went through hell where I didn't feel that bad, but I felt bad enough, and it took a while for it to like really, for
Did
me
you
to
stop-
really
did you
feel
stop
like I was
working?
myself again.
Did
What's that?
did it knock you off work? Like, were you forced to take time off?
Well, I was working from home, dude. I told my boss, I was like, at that time, I was like, I was the director at my previous position. So I was just like, hey, man, I got COVID. And so, I mean, we could take I think it was 14 days off is like what you could take, 14 days without whatever, not being charged your leave or something, some DOD policy. And I was like, hey, I'm going to work, but I'm telling you right now, like, I'm going to be in and out. Like if, you need me to put in 8 hours or whatever, but like, I'll be available. I'm here. Like I'm not doing, like, again, I'm not doing data input. A lot of my stuff is just supervising, kind of like ensuring workload is getting done.
You don't really work.
High visibility issues, calling to meetings on projects and stuff that they require like input from me. But
Again, he doesn't work.
he's like, yeah, take the time off if you want to. If not, just come, whatever. Just if we really need you, like we'll call you. But I mean, I was like, all right. I mean, I'm available on the IM. You know how to reach me.
But that's good though. I mean,
I didn't take the time off.
I'm
I
just
didn't
saying
take the time off work.
At least they understood that you were in a situation that if you needed to take the time, they could give it to you.
Yeah, and then I had a soldier, or not a soldier, just fuck. I had an employee who got sick, and they took all the time, all the time. I was like, all right. I mean, it's like, hey, we got a backup. Good. Take whatever time you need. Whatever. So
the best you can. I mean, that's all you can do. It
is what it is.
These are, you guys are two
I have to
different.
ask though. I have to ask Jonathan. So Jonathan, you would not take the vaccine.
No, and I'm with you on because of that, because Ben, by the way, I know you work in the medical field, but you're not a doctor or a scientist.
Right.
So don't come to me with your
and neither are you though, right?
bullshit.
And neither are you
Okay.
though, right? So
Huh?
please give me
Neither
your
am
medical
I.
opinion with your fucking finance
No,
degree, please.
I'm not giving
Go
you
ahead.
my medical
Okay.
opinion.
Please tell me about how you know the rate
I'm
of
giving you
speed
my.
and
I'm
the
more
trials.
worried. I am concerned and
Right.
worried as a human being
Right.
that this got pushed so fast. Now I understand the other side of that argument, which is technology advances have allowed us to
Mhm.
test and be able to get these vaccines out in a faster period of time in a safe manner.
Right.
Now, having said that, I get it. They're approved for emergency use,
Yeah.
but they're not really approved.
They're not
in a sense,
FDA
like,
full.
approved, FDA
Yeah,
approved.
like they haven't gone through all the bells and whistles to say you can take this and 100% guaranteed. These are the expected side effects.
Right.
This is exactly 100% of the time it's going to happen.
And so-
Instead, it's more like,
Yeah,
this will help you.
Mhm.
There might be some side effects,
Yep.
but
like
it's
everything.
going to help you. That much we can guarantee. It'll help.
yeah.
And so people are just going to be like, that's good enough for me. Put that shit in my body. And it's like, that's great, but I hope
there's
people
my-
really understand fundamentally.
wait,
You can't just turn around and sue the
give me a sec.
pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, so here's the thing. No, but I'm not done. I'm not giving my explanation, Dr. Benjamin Borges. All right. So
Mhm.
look, he wants to say something because he hates it. He wants to
just
call me
kidding.
an anti-vaxxer so
No,
bad.
I'm not at all. I'm
Yes.
just saying you're an
No,
idiot
but,
because there's medications that have been approved by
I'm
the
an
FDA that give you like anal leakage and nosebleeds and suicidal thoughts. So an FDA, what
That's
is an
right.
what does an
We
FDA
make fun
approval
of those
actually
shits,
mean?
and I don't take any of that stuff.
Yeah, but
Well,
who would?
I mean,
Well, I don't take any of that
no
shit either.
different than
That's why when my
putting up
oldest,
to you and never
No, but
going
I'm
to
saying-
UM, you know,
no.
it means nothing.
that's why
Exactly.
when my oldest
No,
son,
but I'm saying
who when he was 8 or 9, we thought that he had ADD or ADHD. I was like, let's observe him. We took him to the doctor. The doctor's like, okay, let's observe him. Have the teachers observe him. I was like, all right. And then I was like, okay, so what happens after the observation? You know, they're going to take the input and they're going to decide if they're going to put him on medication or not.
Yep.
And so afterwards, he said, well, he's like, he could or he couldn't be, you know, ADD. I was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. We're not putting him on medication. Like,
Yep.
he's just an 8-year-old. Just wait till, and that's all it was. He was just being an 8-year-old, and you
Being an
grew out of that
8-year-old,
shit. But we're too quick in this country to put people on medication for anything. I know that because I lived it, not personally, but I know someone who did. Like, we just put people on medication right away.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
whether that shit is approved and it helps, like, it completely fucking changes, especially when you're a young kid. Like, it just changes. It changes the way that your body, especially as a growing kid. Like, it
My
changes.
brother,
Now, I'm
it
not a
happened to
grown
my
kid.
brother.
Obviously, I stopped growing when I was like 5. But
yeah. Out the womb, really.
but no, but yeah, out the womb. But again, look, I had in the army. You and I know this, right?
Yeah, we got
Especially when
everything.
you went in.
Yeah.
We had like all the shots.
No idea
One
what they
arm,
were.
The other, you just
No
line
idea.
up and they just pop, they just jab everything.
Couldn't tell you what they
And then,
were.
fuck, we had the anthrax shots.
Yes.
Remember that shit?
Mm-hmm.
No one in the civilian population had anthrax shots. We had to have that bullshit.
Yeah.
And so I'm not like, it's
You got
not that
questions.
I'm anti-vaccines or anti this, right? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went through it,
I'm
right?
like Jonathan. I have questions. That's kind of why I was
Yeah.
hesitant to take the vaccine, because I was like, not
And
a
I haven't taken
question.
the flu shot since 2015.
Yeah.
My last year in the army, I haven't taken the flu shot.
Yeah.
I don't
And
have
now-
that option. So.
Look, I got sick. Why? Because someone else that I know was irresponsible.
Yep.
Like, you and I talked about this, right? Take COVID out of it. If that same person was just sick with the,
The flu,
flu, I
same
would
shit.
still be fucking pissed at them. That shit is
Yep.
ridiculous. Why would you
Yep.
be around me when you're
Disrespectful.
sick? Don't
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful, especially with like this thing, this virus. It's a new strain of. It's a new coronavirus strain.
Yeah.
People don't know. So why would you put yourself at risk?
And
Because
the
they hate
other,
Jonathans. They
the other
see
thing I'm gonna be
greatness and they
honest
wanna take us
about-
out.
It's a
the
Jonathan
other
virus.
thing I'm going to be honest about is someone's making money off of this shit. Don't forget that, please.
Oh
With
yeah,
all the
100%.
pharmaceutical companies, all the different drugs, all the different vaccines.
That's never a
This
question.
isn't being given away for free. It's not being developed for free. Someone's getting paid.
Tax
So
tax cuts for
whenever you
this.
start seeing a lot of people, I'm just saying, whenever people are peddling something very strongly, someone's making money off of it. That's not saying it's wrong to take the vaccine. I'm just saying it's okay to have questions. It's okay to have concerns, and everyone can decide for themselves what's right for them.
No, 100%.
But
Your body, your choice.
you can't be, this. You can't just be this big ass gorilla on a podcast accusing your friends of being anti-vaxxers.
I didn't accuse you of being
Just because they're
anti-vaxxers.
asking, just because they're asking questions. And even
Well,
though
you're
one of
thinking
those people's brothers is kind of
Okay,
an
just
ass,
like
I did appreciate his question because, yeah, I mean, before I was very much hesitant and I made my appointment and then I didn't have to make my appointment because I got the fucking virus. But, in retrospect, it's like, yeah, I mean, if taking that vaccine could have saved me a trip to the hospital, yeah.
But so here's how I look at it. I went on a fucking rant. I didn't even really tell you why I would not take it or why I didn't take it, because my wife took it.
Okay.
She took it, and then she called me from the VA after the fact. She's like, hey, I got the vaccine. I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, they were offering it, so I took it. I was like, all right, I'm not getting it, but thank you. Because so the reason why is because I feel like, and this might be crazy to you or whatever,
this is your
this might be
opinion.
an anti-vaxxer. This might be an anti-vaxxer explanation, but
Let us know, Joe
this
Rogan.
country has been hit really hard, and it's because we're not a very healthy country. We don't have healthy habits. We don't have
100%.
healthy. We don't
Mhm, mhm.
we don't exercise as much as we should, right? And other countries in Europe, maybe not every country, but they do a lot more stuff. They walk everywhere. They do things. They eat less processed foods. That doesn't mean you're not going to get sick, whatever. But we just lead a less healthy lifestyle. And
So
so
we're like 40% of our
I
population is
don't put
overweight
myself-
or some wild shit.
Yeah, I mean, overweight or everything else that is like diabetes. It's just a gamut of different things. So I thought to myself, like, I'm relatively healthy. Like I eat healthy. I have an active lifestyle. I don't do all these. I don't put myself in a position to, to whatever. And when I do get sick, like haven't gotten sick and I don't even remember when. Like the last time I got sick, I think I was at Fort Lewis, where it rains all the time,
Right.
and you're out there doing PT at 6 a.m. It's raining, it's 40 degrees. Like
Let's get you sick.
it's what are you gonna do about it? Like they're putting you in a situation to get fucking sick, and then where other people are sick around you, you know what I mean? And that was 8 years ago. And so I said, you know what? Like that has a lot to do with it. Like I've gone in to talk to doctors, not recently, but like, and they tell me the same things, like your lifestyle. That doesn't mean don't do this or don't do that. But I feel like I lead a healthy enough lifestyle where I don't know if that's why when I got sick, again, it could have just been a different strain or whatever, where when I got sick, like it took me longer to recover, but I didn't get really sick like Jonathan. And maybe it's just chance. I happen to get a different strain or variety or whatever, and it affected me differently. Who knows? But I am a little concerned, that it got pushed so fast. I mean, like the whole thing with Oxford and AstraZeneca, where they said they were going to release the rights to the vaccine to other countries to mass produce it. And then they're like, no, let's not do that. I think they sold it to AstraZeneca. Bill Gates was big on like ensuring that the intellectual property of the vaccine didn't get sold or wasn't given away.
Money.
No.
And so it's money. So like at the end of the day, it's like, why are you?
But
and they came up with these great excuses. The plants aren't clean enough, this and that. And I saw reports of where there are plants that are ready to just like you just need to send people there to qualify people to start get the production
boxing
going.
it up, yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of everything. It got pushed through so fast, and in a time of transition, like there's always money to be made, right? So this is a pandemic, and there's money to be made everywhere, not just with the vaccine. Like you look at crypto, everyone's talking about decentralized finance or whatever. All these crazy scams come up. We're like, okay, well, you don't invest in stocks, invest in crypto. Not that crypto isn't a thing. It's fucking Bitcoin's been around since like 2011 or 2009 or something like that. But people get taken advantage of. I'm not saying the vaccine is that because it's obviously helped.
It has helped.
Like the fact that it got pushed so fast and it's effective, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that it got pushed so fast and then they were thinking more about the profits than actually just it being widespread, released in a wider manner to help more people.
But don't you? All right, so
what's been happening?
Hold on, wait.
No one's getting sued. We're not going to sue the pharmaceutical companies, like Jonathan said.
Yeah, they're protected. They're protected because the government.
Pharmaceutical companies.
I
and
give
if
you.
we do, right?
It's an emergency vaccination thing. So it's like
Now,
take it at your risk. It's there to help you if anything happens. We're very sorry, mea culpa, but we'll deal with it as it comes. And to some people, that might not be good enough, man. Like we don't know what those side effects might be. And for some people, it might be mild and it might be negligible. For others,
this is very weird for me. This is very weird for me because I'm going to play like
for the few cases
the rich
there
people's
where
advocate. This is very uncomfortable.
big.
Now, look, I understand what you guys are saying. I understand because these are conversations that we've had, right? But isn't there also a lot of money that was lost for a lot of businesses during this pandemic? So maybe that was the pressure of having it rushed.
Pharmaceutical company, Benjamin Borges.
No
What
shit,
businesses?
John.
Mom and pop businesses?
No, mom, they're dead. First of all, they're dead. I'm saying like stadiums. You know what I mean? NBA.
Ben,
no, hey man, hey,
compare apples to apples here. Pharmaceutical, Ben.
Rich, I'm comparing rich to rich.
If anyone's going to defend the rich,
what is the depth of knowledge?
If anyone's going to defend the rich, it's going to be me.
What two articles from New York Times did you read to make you an efficient speaker on pharmaceutical companies, bro? What links on Facebook did you click, bro?
The only corporations that lost money, bro.
This is
hospitality, air travel.
This is new to you?
Come on now.
This is new. No, every pharmaceutical company makes money, bro. Like we're talking about it. Like this is the one specific area that they do it. They charge $1,500. They charge $1,500. They charge $1,500 for insulin, bro. What are we talking about? But I'm saying, of course, they got But also, there's people that need to get back to work. There's a whole bunch of this thing isn't one lane of looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Like both of you motherfuckers got to go back to an office at some point. There's leases that need to be paid. All those things also need to happen. So it's not you're not a lease for you're subsidized anyway, John. I'm not talking to you. You're a tax break, you son of a bitch. And I'm talking to little Jonathan, not long hair Jonathan. You know what I mean? Like it's a multitude of different things where like we can't just talk about it. Every pharmaceutical company ever is only about profit. They socialize their profit and subsidize whatever, however it goes. Because all the money they made is tax brackets they're gonna get tax brackets from both government, be Republican or Democrat, right? So they don't lose anything. They're making money regardless of how we feel, how we talk, whatever podcast we put the fuck out. They're making money in every way possible. So that's not even what I'm talking about.
It's just a matter of gobbling it up, bro. It's just a matter of gobbling it up. Like
right
now, Uncle Sam's literally put out her tits and she's shaking that shit, and they're coming to suck on those teats, bro.
Yeah, Jeff
These
Bezos
are like guys
is killing
that strip
it.
sucking on strippers' titties.
Jeff Bezos got a divorce and made more money after. You know what I'm saying? Like there was tons of money to be made out there.
You understand that as a man, that's a very inspiring story, right?
Yeah, but you're not Jeff Bezos, bro. You know that, right? Like you wanting to pay 0.9% is never gonna happen, bro. You're gonna pay your 35 and deal with it.
Stay tuned, Ben. Stay tuned. I have a dream.
Fuck your dream.
I have a dream, Ben.
Hey, how many Latinos are on that top 10 richest people?
I don't know, but I look forward to joining them.
Yeah, okay. I did not know this was gonna go in a Joe Rogan perspective, bro. This is weird. You John fucking Vallejo out here. Hey man, I'm healthy. You literally verbatim said the shit that we shouldn't on Rogan saying for. You like verbatim, man. We had a whole podcast.
That's literally, I didn't want to say it, but I was gonna say
where we burst shit on him and you're like, hey man, but I'm healthy.
This shit is,
motherfucker, it's not about you.
I am a healthy young man.
You're not a young man.
I'm not giving people, but this is me individually. This is not me saying everyone else that thinks it's healthy.
No, but that's not what you said.
Because that's what he said. He's like, hey, if you're healthy, I don't think you should do it. No, I said me personally.
Incorrect. You pontificated on, hey, we got an unhealthy population. That's your that's you pointing out what you think about everybody else. I said we have an
unhealthy population, and that's why they got hit hard.
Isn't that the same thing?
I think you're trying to twist my words. Yes, we do have an unhealthy population, and that's probably why we got hit harder. Yeah. Right? We have underlying conditions that will affect them. That's all I said. That doesn't mean that if you're not part of that population, if you're a fucking CrossFitter, I'm not saying don't take the vaccine. To me, that was an individual choice that I made.
CrossFitters have rhabdo and bad hips, so they got enough to deal with.
Yeah,
rhabdomyolysis. Fuck their kidneys.
I fucking got rhabdo.
Of course you did.
God, fucking rhabdo hit me in Fort Campbell when I had to do a 13-mile. I had to do a 13-mile ruck march. For you to the unit, they're like, "Hey, we don't have anyone that." Essentially, they said, "We don't have anyone that's in shape to compete, and you just got here, and I see your PT scores." And I see all these. We just had a conversation last week because I had a one-to-one meeting with like the commander and the command sergeant major.
Right.
And they're like, so we see that you've done all this shit. So go ahead and put that ruck on. I was like, dude, I haven't marched 13 miles. I was like, I'll do 13 miles. They're like, yeah, but you gotta do it in like 2 hours and 45 minutes, between 2:45 and 3 hours, in order to have like a competitive time. So I did it. Fucked myself up.
Yeah, almost died
because my back was hurting because fucking rhabdo, like it was, what is your kidney or whatever it was.
Yeah, your kidney stopped functioning.
On a bed hooked up to I was hooked up to fucking IVs. I don't know how many bags they put on. But
did you ever piss black? Because I've heard like rhabdo can get so bad that you literally start pissing black because you're pissing like blood out. You can die from that shit.
Black, but it was painful. Yeah, it was painful for like, but. Yeah, but what hurt was my back. I was like, my lower back is fucking killing me, but it's not really lower back pain. That shit's coming from the inside. What the hell is going on? And they're like, yeah.
That's what kidney stones kind of feel like too. Like kidney stones feel like that, like lower back pain.
You know what? And you know what? I never felt that shit when I got COVID. COVID was a walk in the park compared to that shit.
But you couldn't. But you couldn't walk in the park with COVID.
Rhabdo fucking prepared me.
Hey, but you couldn't walk in the park if you couldn't walk upstairs with COVID.
As long as I had a mask on, I think I could do it. I just had to walk real slow.
Very slow.
Very, very slow. Like a walker.
13 miles.
Like a walker. Like a walker. Could have done it. That's just crazy, bro. Fucking crazy.
No, I mean, but look, that's just me personally. I'm not saying that if you think you're healthy and you lead a healthy lifestyle, don't get it. I just said that personally.
Right.
I wouldn't get it. Now I don't see the need for me to get it. I fucking got COVID. I have the antibodies. And even so, with any vaccine, like at least the flu vaccine, I think the COVID vaccine too, it's like 90 days efficacy. Like after that, then all
Well,
bets are off.
That's
Same thing. If
so
you got
that
COVID after 90 days, it's like you could still get.
this is the thing. Like,
Go ahead, doctor.
no. I actually saw like a thing on. I think it was, I don't know, whatever news was on at the hospital I was at. They were talking about like now like they're looking at the COVID vaccine could be like a lifetime thing. So look, the science isn't back yet, right? Like, for me personally and for my wife, we're like, look, let's do it for peace of mind because it was a struggle, dude. Like not knowing, you know what I mean? Like,
Thank you. The science isn't back yet.
yeah,
I think at this point,
I hate
you should
that.
shut the fuck up.
I'm
with
never
your
I'm never
COVID
I'm never gonna shut the fuck. No, but if you could give your opinion on science that you don't know, so could I, right?
information.
Right? If you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, and we're both gonna do it, so then let me talk about if like I don't know what the fuck I'm
Science
talking
is
about.
not back yet.
Would you understand the science if you read it? Did you talk to a doctor who went through the trials like I did?
I
No,
would understand statistics
no, you wouldn't understand statistics.
I have a feeling.
and
that
statistical
we need to do a part
studies.
2, and what we need is
No.
Benny Swella here.
No,
I am
no,
an
no.
analyst.
First of
Yes.
all,
I've done
we would never
statistical analysis
have Benny Suela on because he'll do the podcast in his fucking car with the car light on and it looks like he's being kidnapped.
with a
We'll never-
wife beater on. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never have him back on the show, regardless how much John and I talk shit. We'll never have that guy. Love that guy. Love that. Never again. It's the most awkward fucking podcast ever.
I mean, he had fair warning, right? He had fair warning to like
2
set
weeks.
up and have
Yeah.
a nice place, and he did it in his car with the fucking dome light on. Yeah,
Dude, it was so
in
it
a
was
wife beater.
That's
easily
awesome.
the worst.
So
Easily the
classy.
worst pod ever, bro. It was like couldn't hear him. He was like looking around because he was smoking. I was like, hey, bro, could you focus on what the fuck we're talking about here?
That's right.
It's like he'd have it like the old man angle, like up his nose. Like, bro, I'm not trying to see this shit, man. Fuck.
But he's the guy that we need to listen to with
Yeah,
America.
he knows
He
that.
has the answers.
He knows everything.
He has
Like,
the answers. He knows everything.
He's like, you know who he is, bro? He reminds me of he's like low rent Hassan Piker. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, man. I'm saying, Jonathan has gotten as far as he has in life because of Benny. Benny single-handedly has helped his brother get to where he is in life. If it wasn't for Benny, where would Jonathan be?
I'm not
that's-
disagreeing.
See, look at that. That's there you go. That's not for denial.
I'm not agreeing either, but I'm not disagreeing.
he's pleading the
You can,
fifth.
you can,
He's
you
got-
can either
he's
confirm
got
or
some
deny.
stuff. He's got some stuff we could talk about when we're not recording. That's easier to talk about than a podcast is being recorded. Because John and I have had some conversations where it's like, okay, that's crazy right there. Yo, man, look, not to like tie a bow on the whole COVID talk, but I'm just glad you're okay, Jay. Like, we were worried, bro. Like that's why I check on you every day. Like I know Vallejo went through it. Like the first time it came real to me, I think obviously when we had the loss or whatever, you know. But when I was talking to Vallejo, and he was like, we try to do a pod, and as he's talking, he's literally wheezing, and he's the guy that's been like super healthy the entirety of the time I've ever known him. So like, if he's struggling with it, that's what scared me. And then like when you got it, I was like, oh, all right, now I'm really scared. You know what I mean? Especially after.
I'm the opposite of Jonathan. I am unhealthy as fuck. I am
Yeah.
overweight. I'm an alcoholic, and like, what the fuck?
Well,
like-
alcoholic is a stretch. 'cause
Like
you're
all
drinking
of my
Corona.
unhealthy choices literally cut up to me in one shot.
You're drinking Corona. Like, let's settle down there with your alcoholic talk. Till you start sipping bourbon on this pod, we can't. You know what I mean? Like last time I got drunk as shit.
He might have 5 of those, 6
That's
of those.
That's
Hey,
true.
look, man, I gotta work my way back to the major leagues, okay, Ben? I
That's
gotta
true,
work
you're
my
right.
way back.
But yeah, man, I'm just glad. We're just
like
glad.
you in football.
No, okay, that was true. 20 years actually. I'm just glad you're all right, man. I'm glad we're able to talk shit the way we do, scream at each other, talk shit, because I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world, man. I actually love screaming at you motherfuckers. I wouldn't like screaming at anybody else. You guys are family. It's what we do. So yeah, man. And shout out to myself. I want to give myself a compliment on my own podcast for pulling in at the buzzer and pulling out the pro and not having to restart this whole fucking recording, because that would have sucked. It just never has the same flow and rhythm. So I just want to thank me.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to call this podcast. I want to thank Ben.
Tell me that you paid for the monthly and not just the annual right away.
No, I pay for the monthly. Come on now, son.
Okay.
This is all we're going to use, though.
I don't know.
This is all
Yeah.
we're going to use. So yeah. So just get ready to pay me half for the next 12 months, though. You're pretty much on
That's cool.
on Zoom support. Yeah, but it's
Alright,
easier,
yeah,
man.
I got it.
It's easier this way, bro. Like it's just easier. It's
Yeah.
except for the white. Hopefully now that we're on upgraded, Zoom lady isn't gonna tell me we're recording because that shit gets really annoying really fast, bro.
Oh, that's good. Hey, I think I know the slogan for our show. No, it's not bourbon infused.
What is
It's the science isn't back yet.
Oh, oh,
Man
yeah,
chatter.
sneak that one
The
in.
science isn't back yet.
Yeah, this is you know what's crazy? This is the only time we've ever talked about science on this pod. That's it. It's the only time.
Do you even know how to spell the word science?
There's a Z in there, right? Science. It's not. He's not the guy that plays for the New Orleans
Wow,
Pelicans.
I honestly said that joke is like low hanging fruit, thinking that I'm exagerando.
Apparently,
And here you go
you
turning
haven't
my
talked
joke
about
into
grammar or English either, Benjamin.
Zion Williamson,
Jesus.
right? Isn't it? Doesn't he play for the
science. Then
doesn't play for the Pelicans?
science.
Science.
Zion's, right? That's not his name.
I like how he's trying to play that shit off.
Yeah, he's trying to play it off. I honestly
Yeah,
think
bro, I
the
don't know how to
title of
spell
this
science,
episode
bro.
is What is science? You really should. You know what?
Then I
Ben?
can't write it because I don't know how to spell science. Okay, I can't write the episode. And then if I wait for Jonathan to do it, it'll be about 8 weeks before I get the video back. So I can't do that either. This motherfucker's on vacation, waiting to write some resumes. Yo, man, on some real shit. I hope that business kicks off for you, bro, because you're ready to retire. You got that retirement face. So I hope you can do it, man. You're just ready to ride off into the sunset.
He's
Like,
ready to start serving fries with that.
Yeah, man. Just chill out, bro. You've served what two entire companies and countries.
Something like that. I mean, it's too early. I'm 37. I enjoy what I do. Work is not too demanding.
You think it's easier now that you work from home?
No, I mean, I had the option to work from home 3 to 4 days a week before COVID. Now it's just every day.
Right.
This new position, it's 4 days a week. Once we go back, working from home 4 days a week, but they might change that because they'll realize there's no need to come in once a week. They already started.
That's stupid, yeah.
Kind of moving office space and all that because my agency is the biggest one in the building, so they pay more. They pay more of the lease and everything else.
What do you think is going to happen with that?
So they've already tried to diminish that.
I want to ask you guys that because both of you guys work like at an office building and stuff like that. What's going to happen with like office buildings in the future? You think working from home is going to become more of a constant thing? And what happens to all those buildings? Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, I mean, that was a question like a few months into it because the people that got hit the most were those really, really small businesses. Like a lot of in downtown there's big name brand shops, but there's a lot of mom and pop shops in the arcades. That's what they call them here. Whatever it is, a sandwich shop, barber shop, fucking shoe shop, whatever. Like they have all sorts of stuff like in the arcades, and those businesses are the ones that got hit the hardest because they rely on those office workers day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
Like even where I work, not everyone was working from home all the time. Like there might be a group that came in one day and they didn't come in another day, but they would be replaced by another group.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just where I work. There's a ton of other office buildings with office workers that are no longer there. And like those people got hit really hard. In the first couple of months, I was reading article after article about people, someone that had been in one of the buildings for like almost 20 years. And they like, after 2 months, they couldn't, I'm not going to, criticize their business acumen or whatever. Maybe you should have had more money in reserves or whatever.
The rainy day conversation.
Everyone else says, hey,
Yep.
you should have had money in reserves.
Yep.
That's what conservatives will say. Hey, you should have had more money. You should have had this saved, blah, blah. Like they're a mom and pop shop. They have to pay the rent in a downtown locale, which you can't be cheap.
Yep.
And whatever. They're a mom and pop business.
Mm-hmm.
They have employees, they have kids.
They also have to live their life.
Like, after a few months, they had to shutter, and it sucks. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that we can leave those buildings. I don't know if I think office workers will come back on a less permanent basis. There'll be more teleworking. I think there might not be as many people downtown. So I don't know what kind of use they'll make of those spaces. Like, there will be empty space, and I don't know what they're gonna do with it. Like, I don't know if you ever heard about WeWork.
Yep.
And they
There's a documentary on
essentially-
Hulu.
They're really a real estate company, but they like try to pass themselves off as a tech company. But all they did was just buy real estate and rent workspaces. And there is a lot of shit going on. I mean, it's not just WeWork. Like all these companies have.
Somebody's gonna buy it up.
That's a different conversation. All these companies that IPO that are valued at like $8 billion and $20 billion, but they're not even generating profits.
Yeah.
It's just, they're functioning off of like the venture capital that they've raised before they IPO and before like they go public. And
Yeah.
WeWork, their shit just like came tumbling down.
Yeah, they're worth
But
like
yeah, I don't know what's gonna
$47
happen.
billion,
I don't know what's
right?
gonna happen. I know that
WeWork was like
I
47
think
billion.
they were, yeah, it was like a $40 billion valuation. It was
Yep.
crazy for WeWork. I think it was something like that.
Yeah, if you got the
I-
bundle,
I'm not even pulling it up.
yeah, if you got the bundle
Yeah,
on Hulu,
for
there's a
free.
documentary on them.
Yeah, no, for me, I think the future is going to be hybrid. The hybrid model for now, like the immediate future,
Mhm.
will be hybrid
Right.
as companies slowly but surely get a feel for that. But I have a feeling that a lot of office workers got a good taste of working remote,
Mhm.
and people
like
now
it.
have a better assessment of whether or not that's even made for them or not.
Yeah.
Because I know some people who thought it was a great idea at first, and here we are 15 months later, and they're like, "I want an office."
People getting divorced.
Yeah, people
they
getting
can't send their
divorced.
wife and
There's a-
kids. all
Yeah,
this
like there's a
crazy
Child
lot of
abuse.
it's a lot of gray areas.
Yeah.
So I think in the that's true.
Yeah.
I'm saying like the immediate future, the hybrid model is probably going to rule.
shit. Mhm.
You still need
And I
human
think ultimately,
interaction.
as time goes by, yeah, I think as time goes by, that's probably going to be the model that sticks. Where you're going to have companies creating a shared space, like they'll have an office building, maybe not as large. They'll have a shared space, and it'll be something to where you have to ahead of time say, "Hey, yeah, we're going to be booking these rooms in the office this day, so
Yep.
you should expect us there."
Right.
And it's not going to be everyone can come in whenever they want. I think in the future, it's definitely going to be you need to reserve the office
Yeah.
space that you're going to use. It's going to save money on companies because they're going to save office space rent.
Those
It's
prices
better for
be
the environment,
prorated.
less traffic. Yep,
Mhm.
less traffic, less congestion on the road. You're going to spend a lot less money on amenities. All these corporations, wanting to attract younger people with like, this kind of Google-esque kind of vibe, open space, arcades, Xboxes. That shit's going to go the way to go though, because
Napa.
like, it's like, what the heck do you need
Salt
that for?
baths.
When you come into the office, you're there to be productive. Otherwise,
float.
no.
All sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and so this agency that I work in, like they when I got there, they were already working under that model where some people would work 2 to 3 times a week from the office and then the other days from home. Some, depending on the position and the department, some people didn't have to come into the office at all. Some
Yeah.
people, like I said, with this new position, you only have to come in once a week. So they were already functioning under that framework. But all the other, I guess, non-government agencies, like just regular private sector, you would see those buildings filled up. Like they might have one day teleworking, but everyone was coming into the office, everyone. And I think at least for the agency I work for, I think the big thing was the older employees, they were not for teleworking. They want to come into the office. They want to be
Routine
around
and
other
habit,
people.
right?
They want to have that
Yeah.
water cooler talk,
Mhm.
going to the coffee, going to someone's desk and bullshitting. And I'm like, man, I was never for that. Like I had that lady that retired this past December, and I worked with her for 2 years at my previous position, and she would have someone coming to her desk, and they would chit chat for what seemed like half an hour, twice a day. Like she would just come from another part of the floor, and they would just
That's
come
right.
and talk, and I'm like, what?
Crack
the
that whip.
fuck is going on? Like, I just put my earbuds in. And I mean, if I had a conference call, whatever, I would just, be on my conference call on my earbuds.
Mhm.
And if I didn't, I just put in some fucking earbuds, white noise, and just work on whatever I was working. But I'm
Is
like,
that a real thing,
what are you
white
doing?
noise?
Like,
Because I watch Fatherhood, so I have no idea. Is that like a real thing? Like I'm not even joking. Like
Yeah.
a legit question.
and I think I don't even call it what I think is it pink noise? I think pink noise.
It's just
is the
noise.
focusing.
It's just noise cancellation. It
Yeah,
really
it's noise
helps.
cancellation, but it does work.
does
It
work.
does work because it cancels everything out. You don't have to worry about anything else, and you just focus on your work. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I would do. It worked for me.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So for me, the company I work for, they're doing a hybrid model. They already started it in their headquarters in Boston.
Yeah.
And our offices here in Florida in August are going to open up with the same model.
I think it'll stick.
And I'm for that. I'm a fan of that because it's flexible. At the end of the day, that's really what matters, is being flexible to your employees and the people that work under you. So
smart. It's smart
if some
business.
people are like, look, this week I really don't need to be in the office more than once a day, one day for the week, you should be flexible with that, because there's going to be weeks where they might need to come in 4 days straight,
Right.
depending on meetings, projects, initiatives.
Yep.
So just knowing that you have a hybrid model is really healthy, in my opinion, because if you're a parent and you need to pick up your kids from school because they're sick, under the hybrid model, you could just pick up from the office, go pick up your child. Exactly. Pick up your child, go home, you can take care of them, and it's okay. It's expected that you'll work remote as best you can while you care for your kid.
Yep.
Like there's no added pressure of like, oh no, now I have to take the day off. No, you don't. Relax. Go take care of your family.
Yeah, it's not a stress. Like, oh, I can't leave work again and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like that entire scenario has now just been erased from the minds of essentially every parent, because at least in the company I work for, because now it's like, look, if you have an issue with your family, go take care of it. It's okay. We have a hybrid model.
Yep.
You know, whereas before there was that rigidity of like, oh, we expect you in the office 5 days a week. Now it's like, we expect you in the office 1 or 2 days.
And it's still it's still a generational thing, right? Because it's still the older generation that believes in coming in and you have to be in the office. You have to have that FaceTime.
To me, that's such a waste.
Yeah.
Like,
and
get out
we
of
have
here.
the tools.
Forced birthday parties.
You have Skype, you have SharePoint, you have Microsoft Teams. You can work collaboratively without being in the office.
Correct. And even things like what Ben just mentioned, like the birthday parties and all that can still happen. But it now has to be done at a very individual level, which is, hey, Steven, do you want us to celebrate your birthday party? Are you going to be here that day?
Yep. And I was never for that bullshit.
If Steven says no, okay, just wish him a happy birthday on Slack on the company and let's move on.
Yeah. I'm good.
Steven doesn't care.
I'm good with a text.
Likewise, you get me. If Steven's like, yeah, no, I'm going to be there the day of my birthday. Okay, plan for like a little birthday party.
Yeah.
Although most companies usually do month-long birthdays where they pick one day.
Yeah.
They celebrate
that month.
Yeah.
And normally they do that just to avoid that entire situation, because it's like you're going to have at least one of the birthday people show up. So that's not really a problem. So the hybrid model really works well. I think companies that are jumping the gun and forcing everybody to work remote are shooting themselves in the foot as well.
They're going to leave. You're going to lose employees.
It's no different than companies that are forcing you to come into the office again 100% of the time. Like you can't, both extremes are just as bad, because you're going to have employees that have issues at home with their wives or issues with their kids, or just situations that in their living home with that's not,
because everything is different now.
Proper productivity versus, because everyone lives different lives. So the hybrid model offers the best of both worlds and a solution to both sets of problems. If you're at home and let's say your wife doesn't work, she's a stay-at-home mom, and you have a 2-year-old, you're probably going to be more open to going to the office until your kid gets older. And then next thing you know, your kid's up to school, your wife might be doing hobbies, something else, and then you can safely work from home without having a 2-year-old screaming at the top of their lungs.
You'll be able to focus.
Likewise, if you have a teenager who's gotten into trouble in school, if you can just pick up and go pick them up and take them home, reprimand them, ground them, whatever, but still get your work done throughout the day, that's
not
just
lose
as
hours.
great.
Yeah.
So that person might be more open. So the hybrid model is probably the best model that we can come up with, and it should be the future going forward. I do not believe in 100% remote work, because you always need a base to touch with, even if they hire you to work off of the beach in Bimini, you still need a headquarters to kind of touch, to land on eventually. Like you have to have some kind of physical contact with your bosses, your chief executives. It helps, whether you believe it or not, because if otherwise you just become a phantom on the internet. Like, oh yeah, I know this guy, Jonathan. Yeah, he's a great dude. He's this, and that. Eventually, you're just software. And
you're right. That's what it is. I say I can do without like going into the office, and I could, but this new place I'm in, same agency, new department. I've been there 2 months, and like I know everyone by voice and by a picture that they have on their Skype or their Outlook or whatever, but I've never seen them. And not that I need to see them, but like in the previous place where I had a couple different positions there, like I knew the people. I knew that lady that came in 5 days a week, that had someone visit her for 30 minutes twice a day. And I knew like my boss, and I knew the team that I led. we didn't interact. Like that's why I think remote work is great, because like when we were there, we didn't really interact face to face. Like we did, because we sat pretty close to each other as far as cubicle wise. Sometimes they would just come to me instead of like sending me an IM or a phone call. You could just walk and it takes 10 seconds. And for some people that's necessary. And like you said, it eliminates you being that sort of like just like that ghost. It's just you're just a random 1-0 on the
exactly.
internet. Like, you're just known by name.
And
by
also
voice.
it really depends on the market, like your market of work. Because if you're like, say for me, I work in the computer industry, right? DevOps and all that. My industry is more prone to being a mixed bag. If you're purely engineer, you can do your job from anywhere. It really doesn't matter. I don't really need to meet you. However, if you want to go into the leadership track in my field, you need that interpersonal communication. You need to know how to talk to people, how to connect with people. You're not going to get a lot of experience with that if you're always working remote, because that's going to be really hard for you to feel someone's personality if you've never physically met them. So you will eventually have to, like, I will eventually have to fly somewhere to meet my direct reports that are in Europe, shake their hand, take them out to dinner, like that. It's going to be part of the job, right? That's leadership, period. So it really does depend on the field. If you're in a field where you're like a graphic artist, where you just get hired to draw illustrations and give it to clients and feedback, you might not need to meet them in person ever, because in reality, the nature of the work is such where the interpersonal relationship isn't required. But if you're trying to close a business deal that's multi-million dollars, you can't be doing no remote deals like that.
No, you can't.
You're going to meet in person. You're going to go to dinner. You're going to wine and dine. And if you have like analysts or other people under you that are finicking those details, they might be the employees that work remote. They might have to go into an office once in a while, but your ass is flying. You're jet setting. You're going to be in person. So again, it really depends on the field that you're working in, your position, and what's expected of you. But I think it's jarring when I see people say, "Oh, that's it. Like, I don't ever have to go into an office again." It's like, well, it depends. Are you cutting off your prospects for promotions? Because I can tell you right now, if you're working in my field and you never want to work a day in an office, so be it. But don't ever expect me to promote you to leader.
No, I mean, I'm in project management now, and I don't have to go into an office if I don't want to, really, ever again. Even heading into, like if I head back into leadership. So my previous position as a director, I was there during COVID. Before that, I was a team lead, and same thing. Like I had the option of working 3 to 4 days from home. Like there are certain things, like I was the face of our department when it came to audits. So whether it was EY or any outside auditor, like I was representing our department. So you had to go, and you don't do that remotely. You don't call into those meetings. You set it up.
You got to be
walk
there.
in. You do the face-to-face interaction. You have to, because at the end of the day, then I'm also the one that's briefing our senior executives for our department and our directors based on like whatever findings. That was me. And so you can't. You're right. Like work from home when you can, but then there are certain instances where you have
situationally.
And so having the hybrid model and that option, that flexibility, I think, like you're right, it's the future. I mean, again, we're already doing it right now. Technically, we're full-time telework right now until otherwise told. But yeah, I think we're 100% still, because of, we're not private sector, so we fall under whatever the man says, we follow. So
that's right.
That's right. Your president, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That's a whole
Not
conversation.
the real president, the one that's going to take over in August.
That's a different topic. I think
that's a whole another pod, bro.
Time to call it a wrap.
All right, man. I got nothing else. John, I appreciate yelling at you. I appreciate you doing my narration of the science isn't in yet. And you're right. It's not. But my personal choice and our personal, we got it. Glad, JP, that you're good, brother. And you were right, man. This podcast is a lot more magical when it's us three together. You were 100% right, because the shit we talked on this one wouldn't have happened if it was just you two or if it was just me and you. So I appreciate it, man.
It's only more magical because we both get to shit on Ben.
That's right.
That's why it's magical. Why's it got to be feces? Like, why is that necessary? That's where we're going. You sick.
I mean, you prefer golden showers? Whatever you prefer.
No,
man.
neither. All right, I choose neither of those. You
Bukkake?
sick. Oh, okay.
Right, Kelly, come down.
What the fuck? Gonna piss on you. Drip, drip, drip. I got nothing else, man. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, King of Drip.
Peace.
Bye, guys.